Hey, what's up, everybody? Chief here. Welcome to this week's podcast. Let me know if the audio is good, and we'll go ahead and get this show started. Wow, lots of people here. What's up, Pranjit, Joel, Green Apple, Adu, DJ ALB, Lone Spanker, Hooligan Danny, Turbo Knight, Ivano, and of course, the Islander there in chat as well. Happy New Year to you as well, Lone. Up Gizmo. Let me know if the audio is good. We'll go ahead and get rolling. All right. All right. Welcome to this week's podcast. Y'all know me, Chief. I've got Islander sitting there in Discord waiting to join in on the conversation. But just wanted to wish you all a happy holidays for those of you that celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever the case might be. Hopefully you guys have had a great week so far. And we are looking at 2020, just a couple days away. So should be a fun time. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about for the podcast. Taking a look ahead at 2020 in War Robots. A couple of things going on the test server as well, so we will be sure to cover all of that here in this podcast. So hopefully you guys are ready to talk and just shoot the shit and see what everybody thinks on what the plans are for 2020 with Pixonic and War Robots and what's going on the test server. So let me go ahead and drop over here to my mouse is not responding. Come on, mouse. There we go. Come on, click, Mr. Mouse. My batteries are dying in my mouse. All right, there we go. Nice. All right, so real quick, Lone Spanker, thank you very much for the donation there. And real quick, see if I can get this to work here properly. I wanted to throw that out there. Here we go, and a big shout out to I don't know if I'm gonna say the name correctly there, but I believe it is Pranjit, coming in from India with a new membership to the channel. So thank you very much for becoming a channel member and helping support the channel. Make sure that you are a member of my Discord. There should be a link in the video description here. Just make sure you join there, and I will get with you with your membership. But yeah, so let me go ahead and pull Islander into the stream here. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, partner. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Just
all right.
Fine. So
what's going on out there, guys? Stream, how's everybody doing?
It's like we've got quite a crowd in there already, so that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And so we are here to talk about 2020, obviously. Pixonic released a video recently, one of the developers talking about what their plans are for 2020, and we will, I guess, kind of go over that. But before I get into that discussion, if it's alright with you, Islander, I'd like to play that video. It's pretty short, but I'd like to play it for the viewers just in case somebody that's watching is not or hasn't seen the video.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's do that.
All right, let me go ahead and get it queued up here and turned on. All right, guys, go ahead and hopefully you guys will be able to hear the video. You should be able to. So and just bring it up here. And I'm just going to play the video for everybody in chat, just so you know what we're talking about here.
Max, do
Huh?
this time.
Yeah, already. Let's do it then. 2019 was quite a year for war robots. We kicked things off with pivots in May that helped us to establish war, factions, and characters. July update brought us operations, basically more items to every home. And finally, this December we unleashed Titans. They brought back the slow, methodical, high-stakes gameplay that war robots were known for a while. What's next? New robots and weapons. Let's address special editions first. They got quite popular, and it's great news. It's fun to play around with different outwardly concepts and see what else classic robots and weapons can become. We will keep exploring those possibilities with new, special and limited editions. Then, in 2019, we came up with a new role system based on the extensive data, showing how robots are usually played. After analyzing that data, we split robots in 5 roles. Brawlers are robots that focus on dealing damage in close range. Tanks protect and make cover for their teammates. Saboteurs are swift, agile robots that are very good at beacon control. Snipers are slow, heavy, and work well with long-range guns. And lastly, support robots. They focus on helping their teammates by fixing them, for example. We used this framework to design the latest set of robots, in which Behemoth was a sniper, Phantom was a saboteur, and Leech turned out to be a great brawler. That approach was a success. Each robot has now found its place on the battlefield. So for the next set, we stick with the idea by preparing a new support and tank. Next year, we plan to release 2 new maps. You probably saw Factory on the test server. Here's how it will look when it is finished. Expect it somewhere during the spring. War robots got tons of new content last year. Time to look back at the older system. Next year, we put heavy focus on improving legacy systems, such as MK2 enhancement we updated in November. There are many things that were taken for granted 5 years ago, but don't make much sense now. For example, why iOS and Android players can't play together? That's what we are going to address first, merging the servers in 2 steps. First, you will be able to meet people from other platforms in combat. This should result in better and faster matchmaking. Later in the year, we plan to also make joint clans and communication between platforms possible. Silver payout algorithm also leaves many questions, so the new system will be fully built on honor, which we have reworked with a great success. Each honor point will bring you a set amount of silver. This way, first, the silver payout will be more clear, and second, you will get silver for all the actions that push your team towards the victory, not just damage. We see this as a more fair way to reward players for their skill and tactical thinking. Battle rewards are also set for the overhaul later in the year to give you better, more intuitive chess progression. The feedback system will let you report bad sportsmanship, cheats, and any other kind of abuse by sending us a note in just a few taps. Alright, let's cut it here. There is so much more we want to talk about, but we'll get to that later. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year, Commanders!
All right, so that was the official video from Pixonic. Couple of important things in there, I think, that we need to talk about. Anything particular you want to start off with there, Islander?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest part of that, and the thing I would love to talk about just a little bit, would be the crossover, crossing over the platforms and getting Android and iOS together. They're gonna be doing it in 2 different parts. All right, first part, like I said, we're gonna be just going up and playing up against each other. All right, at a later date, probably September, October, November, somewhere in there. We should be able to, I guess, join each other's clans, have communications, all kinds of stuff going on. This is a really good thing. This is a big thing for the War Robots community. All right, the matchmaking should improve dramatically. I'm sorry, and you know, the overall, as far as uneven teams, I believe that should bring a fix to it. We know that the matchmaking somewhat works when the right players are online and searching at the same time. Our problem has always been that, you know, not everybody's online at the same time, and you don't always have people of the same size caliber hangers dropping at the same time. So looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a big plus. Looking forward to taking on the top clans in iOS and meeting up against some of the top players in free-for-all. It's going to be a big deal when it happens, all right? I mean, the community should be up in arms when this happens.
Right, and I agree. I think that was the biggest takeaway from the video, for me anyway, was the actual discussion of a time frame of when we're looking at getting cross-platform. Up until now, they just gave us the year 2020. So now, they're looking at least to get us all onto the same servers for playing quarter 1 or quarter 2. So anywhere from, I'm guessing February to June, somewhere in there. It's still a wide range of time, but I think it's good that they're at least starting to give us a time frame. Now, I'm not sure why there's they're doing it in 2 steps, it doesn't really make sense to me, as far as why. I mean, if we can play together and we're going to be or Matchmaker is going to see everybody and sticking us all in the same matches, then how come we wouldn't be able to squad together for another 6 months, potentially? I don't know. It just seems a little odd. But
yeah, I'm not sure why they're doing that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some bugs when it drops. Maybe they just want a comfort zone to be able to work on anything that comes up at that time. Giving themselves a few more months to iron out whatever wrinkles are going to come up would be the only thing I could come up with. Other than that, I mean, once we start playing against each other, we should be able to squad together. Shouldn't be a reason why we shouldn't. But I don't know. I mean, they got other things going on over there. We get the tail end of it, but it would be a lot better if they would feed us just a little bit more information to help us out with our news and with our podcast.
Right. And I do agree though that at least getting the merge or cross-platform done is going to help a ton of things with the game. Matchmaking first and foremost is going to be helped tremendously, which also includes solos dropping against squads and things like that. It should be much less frequent since there's going to be so many more people all in the queue. So I think honestly iOS probably is going to be gaining more than Android is, but it's still going to be great for both platforms. And I don't know, what does the chat think about their planned 2-step?
One of the big issues that I've heard a lot and that a lot of players, mainly from iOS, have is the fact that there is somewhat hacking going on in Android. And let me go ahead and clear this up for you guys right away. Yes, there are hackers and on the Android system, but I think I average seeing a hacker once every month, once every 2 months. They're not as plentiful and bountiful as everybody thinks they are. There's not. You're not going to be running into these hackers every other match. It just doesn't happen like that, right? There's just not enough of them to go out throughout the community that you're going to be seeing them every 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. Yeah, is there some hacking? Yeah, of course there is. But it's not as bad as you think it is.
Right. And, I mean, iOS does have hackers. I think I've only actually came across 2 the entire time I've been playing the game, but they are out there. I think it's just a little bit harder to get some of the hacks to work on iOS than it is on Android, but it could also just be the population. There's just a lot more people on Android than there is on iOS. Personally, I'm not too concerned about hackers though.
Yeah, and another thing that we have coming up with this deal will be the brand new reporting system. So, if you catch hackers or you catch people cheating in the game or people that are manipulating the system, there will be an in-game area to report this type of behavior.
Right. And I think that's a smart move on Pixonic's part to also. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing to the reporting system because there is kind of one already, but hopefully it's going to be something a little more user friendly. And I think you mentioned in your video when you kind of talked about it about maybe just having a way to just link like a screen recording or a screenshot or something to show the hack or unsportsmanlike play or something, something easy.
Right.
Because the way it is right now, it is kind of a pain in the ass to
do it.
Yeah. So.
And then if nothing is done about it, you kind of you kind of get a little bit upset about it. All right, you lose steam on it about as far as going and reporting.
Right. Now they're also talking about communication between the platforms and whatnot. Now, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that means they're working on an improved in-game communication, or do you think that's just for me to be able to send a message, in like plan chat to somebody that's on Android?
I've been going over this for a while, and I keep hearing them say communications. There are several games out there that have global chats where you can go in and talk with players from all over, and they go in the global chat. But global chats have always shown had a history to be very toxic. All right, people go in there and they start fighting and arguing. So I'm not sure if they're leaning towards a global chat or just some type of messaging system to where you would have like a little envelope pop up and kind of like we do at the very top where it says War Robots. You have a little light indicator. You go tap on that and you can have a message from another player. So I'm not sure exactly what they mean, if it's going to be for in-game or it's just a message thing. But I mean, a global chat I would not be against. If you played Call of Duty, you know that there is a voice communicator there, all right? So you can communicate with the guys in your squad. That has proven to be a plus and a minus during my times of experiencing that. Okay, so I'm not sure what they're leaning to. Are they going to try to copy a voice, whether it's just going to be messaging or a global chat? I'm pretty sure we'll be getting more information on that in the near future. And as soon as we do, we're going to share it with everybody.
Right. Well, I think, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of global chat. I think in War Robots especially, it would probably be a pretty toxic thing and just spam, I mean, it's just kind of how it is. But, you mentioned things like Call of Duty, there's a global chat there. I honestly have never really even bothered to look at it because it's just so many people just spam and talking crap, and it's just kind of whatever. It's there, but it's not very useful, at least to me. I think private messaging would be kind of a nice feature, at least to at least on the clan level. I think that would be good, or on the friend level. If you can't send it or message anybody in the game, but I don't know. Personally, I think that they're honestly just referring to being able to just talk to somebody on Android, if you're in the same clan. So I don't think we're gonna see. I honestly don't think.
Kind of like a built-in Discord or something like that.
No, like you know how it is now, where you have clan chat.
Right.
Since the first phase of the merger is not going to allow, iOS and Android players to be in the same clans, they're going to wait until the phase 2 for that to happen.
Right.
So, since there is no other in-game communication outside of clan chat or squad chat, but they're not going to allow us to squad together either until the second phase. So I think that's what they're referring to, is just I don't know. I don't think personally that they're actually going to be expanding the in-game chat in any way, which is kind of a bummer to think that, because it needs some help. In-game
it does.
chat, especially like clan chat. I mean, you can't even type a full sentence and it gets cut off. So, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What chat thinks on that. But real quick, I saw a couple of
Got some
comments.
questions?
See, I did see one somewhere. Sorry, I lost where it was at. I think it was somebody who was talking about where they played another game. They were talking about the reporting system, and they were saying that they played another game that had a similar system of reporting, and it from the sounds of what they were saying, it sounds like they were, or that it was kind of taken advantage of, in that some clans would just report solo members, or non-clan clan members, which I can see that happening, especially in War Robots. If you get crushed, in a match, even if you didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing stopping the other player on the other side from just reporting you for absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, but when that reporting system was talked about, it's primarily talking about reporting cheats, hackers, people that are manipulating the game. Like when we had that little bug where you could jump in the Spectre and it would not come out of stealth as long as you didn't hit the ground. Stuff like that, I think, is what they're looking for. The fact that you get your ass kicked in a match, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. There's not very much to report there. So I'm just kind of curious how they're going to set it up. But primarily what they're looking for is cheating, or if somebody is, goal loading or stuff like this, stuff that where you have third-party interference or manipulation of the system.
right.
Somebody running 5 leeches, it will not be a manipulation of the system. That's just somebody who invested a ridiculous amount of money in leeches or currency or whatever time, and that's been going on since the Ares and the Spectres, and since all the way back to the Rhinos. You've always had people running 5 of the premium meta bot, but that's not a manipulation of the system. That's just something that Pixonic would have to put a stop to, not necessarily the players.
Right. And me personally, I don't like people that run a ton of the metabots, like 5 Ares or 5 leeches.
Right.
I have my own personal opinion, but it is nothing more than my personal opinion. Do I think or believe that hurts the game? Yes, I do. But is it technically against any part of the game? No, it's not. So, hey, what's up, AD? I see you over there in the chat. Just a quick shout to you. Going back to kind of COD Mobile, they have a reporting button that pops up after every single match that you play. And it's convenient, but I imagine it's also manpower intensive for the people that run COD Mobile, because I mean, I can only imagine how many players or kids or whoever just after every match they lose just report tons of people.
Right.
So that's another thing.
That's called the butt hurt. But
yeah, but that's another thing to kind of consider when people are looking at a new reporting system is for it to be effective, it can't really be abused, because it does take a lot of manpower to screen those and look into the data, find out what was actually going on. And if it's a bunch of false reports, then the real ones are going to end up slipping by and not getting taken care of. So I've seen the chat in Roblox. Yeah, those kids are Roblox itself is just a beast of a game. I can't imagine. My kids play it, but yeah, their world chat I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's just like this huge game, and there's like a million different games inside of it. And most of it's younger kids, but there are some older kids and adults, and it's just absolutely insane.
No, I've never checked out the game. I've heard about it, but I've never attempted to play it or anything like that.
So,
Danny Hooligan, I hope I said that right. Just stated if they brought in a way to communicate in battle, the idea of only being clan, the squads. Other than that, I mean, yeah, and this is one thing. If you're going to be playing with somebody and there was an in-game communication, and they got loud music in the background, or kids are screaming or stuff like that, all that comes into the chat box. So that's another thing that I'm pretty sure that they're going to be careful on. Okay. Then the other problem that I can see coming up with is you would have adults in a chat room with minors. Okay, and some of our adults are not quite adults. All right, so they get hostile, they lose. There's a lot of rage in the game that goes on. So I'm not sure about a voice comm, depending on an age bracket. I don't know how that would work. I don't think voice comms is good for in squad. Maybe for clan, but we have Discord for that as well. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to think up here.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever put voice comms into War Robots. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at this point. I mean, everybody uses things like Discord. It's free for everybody to use. You can use it while you're playing. So they would just, that's a big investment for them to write all the code, implement it, put the extra strain on the servers to transmit all of the, voice chat back and forth. And for what? They're not going to get anything out of it. So it's just not going to make any sense. Not going to make any sense at all. See, Anthony said he wants to see a way for PC players to be able to get some of the freebies the mobile players get. Things like ads. And I think that Sonic has talked about that a little bit. They said that, ads are probably not going to come to any of the PC platforms. Well, unless you're playing an emulator on Android.
Right.
Which is something that, I mean, unless and it's kind of a bummer though that as of right now there's no plan to merge the PC players into with the rest of us, because if they've invested a lot of time into their accounts, it's they're just kind of SOL. Each time somebody quits, that's one less player they've got, and it's already pretty lean over there. But if anybody's just new or starting out, maybe you want to maybe before you get too far into playing on Steam or something, maybe take a look at emulator Android or something, if you don't have much invested, because I think in the long run you'll probably be in a lot better position.
Okay, so the new silver system that's going to be coming in, all right, the new honor server. Let's go ahead and switch gears up a little bit here, and let's talk about another big issue that's been in the game other than bad matchmaking or matchmaking in general, has been the economy and the final silver payout. Now, finally, they're going to be addressing it. It's only taken almost 2 years since I believe we started this whole ordeal. And of course, they were stating that the silver payout was still stuck on the old system. And of course, I argued the fact that there was nothing wrong with the old system, just the tweak of the amount of silver that was paid out. But they're going to be running it like they do on the honor. Okay, so damage is not going to be everything anymore. Okay, there's so many other factors that are going to come into play as far as obtaining silver. So I think any system is better than we have currently in the game right now. Okay, but it's all going to be about the numbers at the end. I mean, how much a value of each deal is it going to break out to you? I mean, are we going to be, if you go out there and you play really good games, can you expect a lot higher payout of silver? or is it going to come out to the same thing?
Right. And, on the subject of silver, I personally think it's a good idea to, change it to be reflective of honor points because, everything has shifted over to honor points and it does make things a little easier. But I have two major issues with it also. And the first being that honor points are not awarded to every player in the match, right? So for things like beacons captured, or kills or heals, it's only the top 1 to 3 players that even get any honor points. And so does that mean that those bottom 3 players on a match are just going to get way less silver? And the second problem that I have with it is that I don't know that we are going to see an increase in silver. I think a lot of people are probably hopeful that we will see an increase in silver, with this change. But I think what they're going to do is they are going to actually lower the amount of silver that damage is worth, compared to what we're getting now, where everything is based on damage, and then boost up some of those other areas, like beacons or kills or whatever the case is, and on the honor point system. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to compensate for how much they are probably going to be cutting the damage portion of the silver. So those are my two big concerns with it. But I think overall it's still a good move, because then we'll actually know where we're getting silver from, because right now we have no clue. It makes 0 sense, and obviously makes no sense to pick Sonic either, because they even said, it's an old system, we don't even know how people are getting silver, basically. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if anything that they do out of this, I hope they eliminate the repair costs. There are no little itty bitty mechanics in the game. There should not be a repair cost. The damage done in the game is virtual damage. So the repair cost for one has to go. I know they removed it from our visual. We cannot see it, but the fact that the damage is still there. This is something that I tested a while back, where I went ahead and took damage on all 5 bots, and I'll probably go ahead and repeat that test one more time, where you can see that if you take a lot of damage and you don't deal any damage out, you'll be in the negative silver at the end of the match. So the repair costs are still there, and they need to be removed from the game. All right, that even if it comes out to 200 or 300,000 in silver, that's an additional 200 or 300,000 in silver you should be taking into the purse at the end of the match.
Right, and I agree with you on both of those points. That one, it is still in the game right now, even though they no longer show it to us on the battle report. But they also do need to get rid of it, because it makes no sense to even have it there. From an economy balancing standpoint, there's no reason to have it. So, I mean, maybe back in the day, 3 years ago, when silver, and gold were the only 2 currencies in the game, I could see maybe, needing to balance the silver output a little bit. But at this point, I mean, silver should just be flowing, and it's not. So. Talk about lag. Yeah, looks like Bright is talking. I've seen a couple people mention in the chat already talking about lag, and
if you're using VPNs, guys, when you want to jump from the American server to the Asian server, or to the European server, or you're gonna experience lag, guys. All right, you're going across the pond to play. All right, because you're not happy with the competition, or there's not enough squads, or whatever's going on, and on a certain server, you're gonna jump the pond. You can expect a certain amount of lag. That's just in the game. Now, when you're having lag in-house, all right, if you're playing on the US server and you're still having lag, make sure it's the actual server and not so much your device lag.
Right, and no doubt there is lag on the servers. Pixonic does admit to that, and they say that it's mainly because of the old code that that is kind of, not really up to par anymore, which supposedly they're going to be fixing as part of the merger, is getting rid of basically all the old code, which should help. But a quick example, you were talking about VPNs. I've got a guy in my clan who was having some serious problems with lag, and he didn't understand what was going on. And then come to find out, he had been using a VPN on his device, not specifically for war robots, not to be able to go to a foreign server or anything like that, but just as a basic security measure that some people have. And he turned that off, and not all of his lag disappeared, but a lot of it did. So and that's going to be very true for people that aren't even, maybe they're using a VPN for work or whatever the case might be on their device. It is always going to introduce more lag. Just that's the nature of it. So if you aren't sure whether or not you're using a VPN, you can get into your phone or tablet settings and find out. But yeah, definitely, do whatever you want with your device, but please don't complain about lag if you choose to use something like a VPN to try and get around servers or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I mean, there is no problem with using a VPN. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not any type of hacker. It's just something that's out there that people use for a lot of different things. What we normally do is if we have somebody from Asia that's in our clan, he'll generally start up the squad, and because he starts the squad, we're going to that server. Okay, and even if he has the realms over to somebody or the reins over to somebody else, and now he passes the reins to me. Now I'm the squad leader. We're gonna stay on that Asian server or the European server, whatever server we jumped on, until we reform the squad. Okay, so if you're having lag issues, you can check that, especially if you're an international clan and you have people from all over the world. And whoever starts the squad, guys, okay, you're going to that country to play. So just keep that in mind.
Right. Oh, and I know War Robots doesn't actually have a problem with people using VPNs to, change what server they're going to or fighting on or anything like that, but some games do. So keep that in mind, like, once again, Call of Duty Mobile, they recently banned a ton of people for using VPNs. That's the only reason they got banned, was because they were using VPNs, because according to, each game, they can decide whether or not it's against terms of service to use a VPN. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to go that route and use a VPN. Oh, okay. Anyway, we can kind of move on here. I'm gonna keep reading
All
chat
right.
here, but other things that were mentioned in the that video, maps, 2 new maps.
Yes, sir.
We only know the one so far that we've actually seen, and that was what do they call
Factory
it?
map.
Factory, right? And the artwork that they showed actually looked pretty cool. To be honest with you, if I remember correctly from when it was on the test server, those little pools of water were like an acid. You didn't like die instantly, but you took damage as you were in
Just for
those.
walking in it.
Right, which I think is kind of a cool change, because right now we have castle map and carrier where there's water, and if you touch the water, you just die. I don't know why you die, even. It is what it is, but I think the damage over time thing of being in the water, I think, or in the acid, whatever it is kind of a cool idea. And the map itself looks like it's going to be a pretty solid brawling map. I don't think it's going to be super camper friendly, which personally for me, I think that's a great thing. And I don't know, have you heard anything about the second map that they were talking about?
Nothing at all. I've already done some poking around. I've been looking for any kind of information I can get on the second map, and there's nothing out there yet. So eventually we'll get our hands on some early access information, and what we do, we'll definitely pass it along. I'm kind of hoping to see more than just 2 maps. Really, really am. We didn't get any maps for 2019, so I think they're backed up a little bit. I think they owe us for 2019 and for 2020. That's just my personal opinion. But I would like to see a few more maps come to the game and get a little bit more variety going on. I do like the fact that the factory map is a brawler style map. It's very small, I guess you could say. All right, it's not gonna be, there's not gonna be a lot of room for your camping style weapons. But that's just here. I mean, that's just the way it is. All right. I mean, we already have a few maps out there that are just perfect for that. So we need to get back to the step in a square and battle it out.
Right. I know a lot of people just want to see a bunch of new maps coming out, but at the same time, I mean, I get excited over a new map coming out because, like, honestly, Castle, it's the most recent map that we got, and personally, I think it's a great map. It's got a good mix. It's not too long range, but if you're into the camping or long range stuff, you can make it work. But with the multiple levels, I thought was a lot of fun. Especially when you compare like Castle to something like Springfield. Springfield is friggin' boring, personally. It's my opinion. I don't like Springfield.
I'm with you there at Springfield. That's just as bad as Yama.
Yeah.
Yama Tower is just a horrible map in my opinion. At least in Canyon, you do have some type of cover once you get down into the gully there, all right, or the old canal system, whatever it is. Once you get in there, you can go back and forth. There is cover, so you can creep your way up against the opposing force. So I do like of the 3 long-range map, Canyon is the best one in my opinion. But I think we need a few more brawling maps. I mean, right. Moon is awesome. Dead City is an awesome map. These are the style of maps that I like to play on.
Yeah, and I agree. So hopefully, I think a lot of what makes a map fun, I think, is the layout. Not only of things like cover, but where the beacons are at. Because something like Yama, it could be better if they maybe found a different place for center beacon. But the way it is right now, if you're not the first to get center, there's about a 75% chance you're going to lose the match. Just how it is, and that's strictly because of the layout of the map, and it kind of sucks. But with a new map that comes out, since they are coming out with this new brawling map, I'm thinking they are probably going to come out with a second map that's probably a little more long range. And the reason I say that is because of the 5 categories of robots that they're saying we have now, and one of those is sniper. So they are wanting to include specifically sniper into the game. So I don't think we'll get a second brawling map.
I doubt it very seriously. I'm just hopeful for a second brawling map.
Yeah.
But I completely understand that we have all styles of play in the game, and they'll probably bring another medium range size map. I don't think it'll be a very long map, but they may bring another medium-sized range map to the game. Something like Shenzhen style of play, where you can use both brawling and range play.
Right. And I think that's probably what they're going to do. Is they're probably going to have smaller maps and medium-sized maps. I don't think we're going to see any more long-range maps.
Keep in mind, Chief. I mean, during the live stream. And they had put out that survey, and everybody chose either the medium style maps or the short style maps, and they were going through their heads, well, how can we make a large map player friendly? How can we make a big map fun? Right. By not making it. You know, I mean, nobody asked for big maps. Everybody was sticking to the small or medium range maps. I mean, I'm sure we have a scattered few out there that do like, you know, the long range maps. I'm not going to say everybody, but the vast majority was on point with smaller or medium sized range maps. You know, why they would even attempt to make a large map player friendly, I am clueless. All right, because I just don't think they're too player friendly unless you like running range.
Right. But I also think that they're probably going to avoid those extra long maps because it seems like that's the direction they're taking with everything. You know, first they got rid of the light, medium, and heavy robots. Now, only medium robots. They're all considered medium. And I think what they're trying to do is just kind of make things a little more cookie cutter, I guess, in some ways.
Right.
And I think we're going to see that with maps as well, with the continued, you know, development of maps. One thing that they could do with maps, though, and I hope they don't do this, is I hope they don't consider that little tiny map that we had. It was during an arena event or something. A little while back, yeah. That little tiny map. Because they've mentioned that a few times in their dev streams, but I hope that isn't the second map they're gonna come out with. Because
if they're gonna bring a 1v1 mode to the game, and that would be cool, as long as the bots are not pre-selected. I think that would be really good. You can get in there and get some 1v1. I think the matchmaking would be perfect once the servers are joined. You know, your chances of you're running all MK2 gear, running into somebody else who's running the same style of equipment should be a lot higher probable. If they did bring a 1v1, then yeah, that would be perfect, a map like that. But I don't think they're going to reintroduce that anytime soon. So it's got to be something that's team oriented.
Right. And I agree with you. I think, you know, if they did come out with like a 1v1, a tiny map like that would be great. And I think it would be pretty fun too, you know, having a actual live game of 1v1. But you know, at the same time, like I said, I just hope that isn't the second map that they're hinting towards, because I agree with you. I don't think they are going to release a 1v1 mode, at least no time this year. But I don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and see on that part.
Have to wait and see on that one.
Scroll through chat here. If I'm missing some of your comments, I do apologize. There's
if we miss a comment, guys, just go ahead and re-ask it a second time. Michael, I see Michael out there. Michael, just to give you the heads up, bud, I've heard word of the Bastion resurfacing. I figured if anybody would be interested in that particular name, would be you. So just throwing that out there to you, Michael. The name Bastion has resurfaced in a few conversations. Do I think it's going to come? No, I don't. But there is still talk.
You know, personally, I think Bastion is going to be one of those, you know, I don't think it'll ever be a playable robot. You know, I don't think it'll be a Titan. I don't think it'll be a regular robot. I think, you know, if it does come back, I think it might be something, you know, during an event or, you know, something like that, or part of some story. But you know, just thinking back to what Bastion was, you know, and kind of what it represents to war robots, I don't think it'll ever be a playable robot.
No, I don't think so either. But Big Sonic has been known to throw curveballs at us, brother.
That's true.
That's one thing that for sure in this game, you know, they could be saving that one for a really big update release style deal and just make it a huge event for the Bastion finally making it to the field. We've seen it over the years pop up in several of their videos and several of their screenshots. So we know they have it there in the background somewhere. You know exactly what it is or what it is to do. Who knows? All right, but I know Michael was very big on that with the AI drones flying around it and giving it cover and stuff like that at one time. That didn't surface at all, but there's been talk about the Bastion resurfacing, I guess you could say. There's been another sighting.
Right. A couple of you talking about trading or some kind of in-game trading system. I don't think, well, I don't remember if they've ever directly addressed that in a dev stream, but I really don't think that it's something that's going to happen. And that's just
simply because that would get manipulated big time too. We know it would. Is it a great idea? Yeah, man, that is a freaking awesome idea. If I have a Glacier and you have, the Yandi Avenger, and both weapons are new meta and their value system is identical, and we want to trade for one, that would be great. All right, it's going to be the people that are trying to trade you their Orkins for your brand new Glacier and trying to talk you into it, or bully you into it, or manipulate you into it, is where the issues would be. Okay, and you're going to have so many trades going on. It's going to be impossible to monitor it. And nobody. Last thing anybody wants to do in this game is feel that they got cheated out on something, that they did not get equal value of what they gave up.
right. And I mean, with the economy so messed up as it is in War Robots, a trading system, even though it would be cool to be able to do, so you can get rid of your stuff that you don't need or want, and get something that you do. Every game with a trading system gets infiltrated by third-party sellers. These
Yeah, that's
guys
gonna
from
pop up.
websites where you can just get on there and you can order a certain robot or weapon from them, pay them real money, and then they just log in and deliver it to you, or quote unquote trade it to you in the game, and it absolutely ruins the economy. So
Yeah. So in theory, it's an awesome idea. Practically, and I mean practical, it won't work out. It really, really won't.
right. And I saw a question there asking about what the fourth and fifth Titans might be, and they haven't told us specifically, but they're hinting, as far as what they might be based on the 5 types of robots, and they have what Saboteur, which is like your I don't know what it like your phantoms, right? Right now, I don't think we have in the game a Saboteur style Titan. We
No, we
also don't have a support role Titan. That's like a healer, right? Or at least the support roles that we know of, robot-wise in the game right now, are healers. So I think those are the 2 that we're going to be looking at. Now, don't expect like a beacon runner Titan. I don't think
You
that's
mean like
gonna
a
happen.
Titan Pursuer? Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
I just I don't think that we're gonna get a fast Titan. It doesn't matter what their role is gonna be, but I think those are the 2 roles that we don't have right now as far as Titans. So it'll be something along those lines.
Or they could also continue on with the grouping that they came out with. We have the Dragons, we have the Wild West bunch, we have the Camelot bunch. These all came to light. You still have the Greek bots, the Dash bots, the Ragnarok bots, the Invader group that came out. There's still all those different little factions still that came out that they could. There's just so many different directions they could actually go in. All right. Of course, the Saboteur bots are like the Pursuer. Those are more like independent bots that came out. They really didn't come out with the group. But you could have anything from giant hellburners to who knows what else that they could have out there. The sky's the limit on the Titan, guys. It really, really is. The good thing is that they're only going to bring 2 more this year, so they're going to be coming out at a slow pace, which I think is good. I don't like the rapid pace of robots that we currently have coming out. I think if they would release Titans the same way, it would really affect the wave of the community. The morale, I think, would drop really, really bad if they were just releasing a lot of stuff at one time.
Right, and I think with the Titans that we have right now, we have the tank, right, or the brawler, which is the Arthur. We have like a damage dealer, which is the Kid. And then we have what they're considering the Sniper Titan, which is the Ao Ming. Of course, it's not really a sniper unless you fork over tons more cash so you can buy the energy weapons for it. But that's another thing to keep in mind too, that just because a certain robot comes out under one of these titles, I guess, or under a description that they give it, doesn't mean that's how you have to play it. So a lot of it has to do with what do you equip on it, how do you use it. So but if you're looking for like another Titan to come out that's going to be super strong or OP, honestly, I don't think you're going to find any of the two new ones are going to be any more OP than what is already in the game. And
if you've gone up against Max Titans, you know exactly how powerful they are now.
Right. And I do agree that they are going to probably keep with the different themes for the different robots, the different packs that they call them. They did kind of say that that's something that they've enjoyed doing, so that tells me, yes, that's what they're going to do. Now, what's actually going to be next, I have absolutely no clue. Could be anything. And hold on, my dogs are going nuts here.
Let's shift gears a little bit, Chief. What do you think about that phase shift, man?
What do I think about phase shift? I think it's better if it wasn't in the game, but the nerf.
Yeah, but the modification that they're going to be making to it.
I don't think we'll see a big difference based on, because they're just cutting it down by 2 seconds. So you're going to still have 3 seconds of invulnerability, and it's still going to wipe you clean of any detrimental effects. So if you're locked down, and we'll talk about lockdown here in a minute too, but if you get locked down or you have corrosion or anything like that, you're going to phase shift, and even though it's only 3 seconds instead of 5, you're still going to break free and get rid of all those effects on you. And they also decreased the amount of time before you could use it. It was 40 seconds, now they're lowering it to 35 seconds. I think that's a bad move, because right now, one of the biggest problems with phase shift, in my opinion, is with the pilot abilities of being able to do things like double phase shift. It's just terrible to allow that ability, honestly, on phase shift. But
and the other pilot ability that all active modules recharge faster.
Right.
So just because they changed it up a little bit, they shortened the time by 5 seconds. But if you have that reduction in time with the all active abilities recharge faster, okay, so you're going to be getting actually more phase shift opportunity or faster phase shift opportunity than you're currently getting right now. So I'm not a fan of it either. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, same thing. It's not much of a difference. Even if they would move it down to 2 seconds, okay, the point is you break free from the ability you're in. You throw your opponent off for just a couple of seconds is all you need to retake the advantage. Phase shift is a broken module from the time that it was released. I don't like it because there's just so much of it in the game. When you have the phase shifters that use the phase shift complaining about phase shift, there's a problem. So I think those pilot skills, particularly for if you're going to have those on, those pilot skills need to be removed. Yeah, if you're going to have phase shift, no problem. But can you repeatedly use that phase shift over and over again? I think that's where it kind of creates a rift in the game.
Right, I agree with that. And I know on their questionnaire they asked questions kind of along those lines of what's a bigger problem, and they ask what abilities, pilot abilities do you like, which ones do you not like, and I mean, for me personally, I stuck that double phase or doesn't have to be a phase shift, but that double activation ability, pilot ability on there as one of the worst pilot skills, because it's a game breaker. To be honest with you, when used with certain modules, if it was like a healing module only that you could use it with, I think I'd be okay with it. But to be able to use it, to make yourself invulnerable, no, I think that's bad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it works really good. The Dev Survivor works really good with the Pursuer, and it has, because the Pursuer is something that I use still pretty often, and having that second quick ability has made it possible for the Pursuers to compete with the Aljuns and compete with a lot of these other bots. Otherwise, Pursuer would be making its way out of the game. So for certain bots, it makes them viable again. Okay, it makes them competitive again. For other bots that are completely overpowered as it is, it makes them almost indestructible.
Right.
Unless you're matched up with somebody that has exactly the same deal as you are, then you're just trading off.
Right. And I think they really just need to kind of take a hard look at the pilot abilities that are in the game and maybe kind of tweak some here and there. They haven't really revisited pilots or pilot abilities yet ever since they were released. It's something that I imagine they're going to want to do in the future. So,
well, I'm real nervous about phase 2 of pilot skills. I mean, we got a certain batch of them, and everything works great. But Pixonics is always looking for the bigger and better deal. And every time that we go in and change a pilot skill, you don't retain your pilot skills. Okay, so it costs you currency, it costs you gold every time you want to go reshift a pilot to something else. Okay, so will they be bringing in new skills? I believe they're going to be bringing in new skills, and that makes me real nervous about what kind of skills they'd be bringing into the game.
Right. But I think I mean more of just since pilots was a big feature that they released, they haven't really revisited it or told us that they've revisited it. You know, all of their data that they're constantly collecting, they haven't really told us, you know, what they're seeing. So, you know, with any kind of major feature, you know, for pretty much any company, you would think that they would need to evaluate it periodically. So if they're not planning on doing that, I suggest that they do, just so they can take a look at, say, okay, is it really the right thing to be able to have these abilities on certain robots, or should we, you know, just get rid of some of these abilities and bring in some other ones because, you know, those abilities really just don't work as we intended them to. I don't know, but I agree. Yeah, I'm scared too when they go in and make some changes, because if they end up changing something, it's going to cost me a bunch of gold to change it on my pilot.
But if it removes something, now remember, they could just remove that phase shift entirely. It is an active module. Nobody's invested anything into it. Nobody's paid cash. Nobody's paid gold or silver to upgrade it. Oh yeah, you're gonna pay gold when you swap to it. It's a one-time fee if you decide to stay there. But nobody has time and currency invested into it to upgrade it or purchase it. So that is something that they could just outright remove if it was too detrimental.
Well, I think we told them that it was going to be too detrimental before they ever
we did
let it go. So, and AD Gaming says that they did buff the guidance operator skill. Yes, you are correct. So I guess they have revisited that skill at least. But I think most of the skills probably need another look. Some of them work pretty good. Some of them, I don't know, maybe adjust some things here and there, especially since Titans came out. The game itself, as Titans get stronger, is going to change a little bit. So, do Titans get pilots? Somebody was asking. Aki Wayland. No, Titans are not going to get pilots.
No, we are the pilots. Although there was an Easter egg, all right, in the load up screen. Can you load up your game real quick? I just want to take a look at that screen when you enter the game. Is that possible, Chief?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
And this is a topic that has come up, and I'm glad that they mentioned it about the pilots, because the Easter egg is right there in front of us.
Oops. Talking about that loading screen?
Load up more robots. There you go. Here it comes.
Pop-up ads is insane.
Right there. Okay, you see we have 3 people on top of a Titan. You saw that?
Yes, I did. See if I
Okay.
can get it to load again.
Now, there they are. So we have 3 people on top of the Titan. We're the pilot. Now, could you get an engineer? Can you get a co-pilot? Can you? I don't know. All right. I don't know why they would put that out there. It could be just artwork, guys. It could simply be just artwork. We known in the past that every time that they put something into artwork like that, generally it could be an Easter egg or it could just be something for the hell of it. Okay. So, but I wouldn't take very much stock into the fact that you have 3 people sitting on top of a Titan. But I mean, there could be co-pilot. There could be something like that coming to the game that we don't know about, and that could be an early Easter egg. This is information that I've been trying to find out. I don't have any information other than what I just told you right now. The potential is there for add-ons, I guess. All right, but they've already told us in the past that we are the pilots of the Titans, and that they would not have any additional pilots, or they would not have pilots. Okay. But if they give a co-pilot or an engineer, or they name it something different, okay, we're still the pilot, but now you have something there to help you out. And that had me a little bit nervous. It was one of my subscribers that brought it to my attention. How come there's 3 people on top of the Titan? I was like, damn, you know what? It's been there all the time, and I never really caught on. So that's something we'll continue to dig into a little bit more, guys. And if we find something out, we'll let you know. All right, but right now I wouldn't place too much stock into it.
Right, and I agree. They could do something. I think it would be a little shady if they just say, "Oh, it's an engineer. It's not a pilot."
Right.
You know, that would be shady.
That was my biggest fear. That now to help you out, pilots, we have 2 engineers. No mames. Come on, guys. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
In all reality, all they would have to do is just, instead of having an engineer or some co-pilot, they could just make it a module. You know what I'm saying? Another module slot or another type of module. And we do know that modules are going to be activating for Titans very soon. And along with the base modules, you know, being able to switch those out, eventually they will come out with premium modules. So I think what they're going to do first is they're going to kind of milk these first 3 Titans for a while. We might see some more Titan weapons come out before the introduction, or maybe at the same time as the next 2 Titans that get released. But I think before then, I think we'll probably see the release of active modules for Titans. But I don't think we'll get any kind of co-pilot or anything like that for Titans. At least no time in the next year. Personally, that's my opinion. I think it's possible though.
Well, I knew we were getting the passive module. Okay, but as far as my understanding, we're not supposed to be getting any active modules for the Titans, simply because of the durability that they're going to have.
Right.
But then again, we've had curveballs thrown at us before, so it's not, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they did come into the game. Right. But remember, they don't make they really don't make anything off of the active modules other than, you know, 8 or 10 gold or 4 gold or 5 gold or whatever it costs you to switch into it.
Well, what I mean by we'll see premium modules is like the modules, the passive modules that we have in the game right now.
Okay. You know,
we've got the silver modules, and then we've got the gold modules, right? The premium modules.
I got you. That was a misunderstanding on my part. I was thinking that you were talking about active modules. Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll see active modules. So, you know, that's possible too, way down the road. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna see. They're gonna want people to buy modules for Titans. It's a moneymaker for them, so we'll see. Because I don't think people are going to be happy just with a health or a damage module. And, oh, what else was a test server? Test server also. The
the lockdown weapons.
lockdown shotgun rebalance. Now, one thing they didn't say is that this is going to be a rebalance for all lockdown weapons, though I can tell you it probably will be eventually. But right now, it's only for the lockdown shotguns. And I'm on iOS. We didn't have access to the test server this weekend, but I have seen a few videos on how it works. And basically, the rebalance, instead of being, a 36% chance that if you shoot your halo, you might lock somebody down, it's going to be kind of a build-up. You're going to have a small meter next to the target's name that shows you, when you're going to lock them down. You might have to shoot them 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, but that it'll fill that meter up, and when it fills up, they will get locked down 100%. There's no more chance. But it's also going to really, really change how lockdown works in the game. No more, jumping out there with your Ares and getting an instant lock, the first shot, anymore.
Right.
It's going to take multiple shots to lock somebody down. So I think overall, that's actually a good change.
I love it.
A lot of people.
I love it 100%. The fact that we were getting locked down, especially if you were running in an invader or a Falcon or one of the heavier bots, you knew you were going to get locked down really, really quick and repeatedly. So I like the fact now that it's going to take a required amount of shots. That means there's going to be less lockdown in the game, less stagnant for the game to be, and more fighting.
Right.
I love it. I think it's a good idea.
I agree. I think it's a great idea. A lot of people were not happy when they first brought lockdown into the game. If you remember that, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this sucks. It's ruining the game." And then how did they get past that? Well, they just brought other things into the game that actually did that. So
well, I think if anybody's going to be a happy camper here, I think it's going to be Manny.
Yeah, that's true. But it really does get frustrating when and I think it's probably just a perspective thing where you feel like you get hit once by a stray bullet and you get locked down, but you're sitting there pounding away at your target and you can't get them to lock
them down for anything.
So it's definitely frustrating to be in that position, and I think this is going to solve that frustration. But one thing that's also going to do is it's going to change how the lockdown weapons are used. And people will probably make some minor adjustments because it does require multiple hits now to lock them down. So going and contesting a beacon at the start of a match on Beacon Rush or Domination now is going to be very different because there is no more one-shot lockdown, and then boom, you get on the beacon. It's going to be multiple shots. The concern that I have, though, is how is that going to affect the anti-control module? Now, that's honestly one of my favorite modules in the game, the premium modules wise. And that's because it helps prevent you from being locked down, which is annoying. It also helps prevent you from being suppressed. But
if you're running an anti-lockdown or anti-control, and you get built up to a lockdown, that anti-control should kick in, and you would have to take your next 5 or 10 or 8 shots before you were able to get locked down again. Now, the anti-control is not going to keep you from getting locked down, but it should prevent that first lockdown from happening.
Right. But
in theory?
But since the anti-control module is a triggered item, right? It only triggers when you get hit with, or not when you get hit with lockdown, but when you actually would have been locked down.
Right.
And it triggers when you get hit with suppression. Okay. Now, since it requires, say, 4 hits now, for example, to lock you down, is it going to trigger as soon as it would lock you down, or does it trigger on that first hit?
No, that would be bad if it triggers on the first hit. It shouldn't trigger until you get hit with the actual lockdown round like it does right now. because I've been in games where I'm getting shot by Corona, and I'll take 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, and all of a sudden there goes the blue screen. So it should be the actual lockdown round fired that triggers it, not just any random round.
Right.
But we'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out, and then we'll have things to discuss if and when it does.
Right, and that's something that I want to personally test, before it goes to the live server. And Mixed Fan, mentioned a good point. Pulsar shredders are not on the test server, and I think the reason for that is because it's a different firing mechanism, so it's going to be a completely different code to get that bar, or the icon to fill up based on a shredder or a pulsar. But I do think, I'm nearly 100% positive that they will also rebalance the shredder and pulsar as well.
I think the only way you're going to guarantee yourself that lockdown is with the lockdown module.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Use the active module for lockdown ammo. That's still going to be a guaranteed lockdown.
Yes.
All right. So actually, I guess. Well, I think that might actually change the game some more, because that might actually cause people to decide, okay, do I want to run a lockdown module so that I can guarantee a lockdown to get that first beacon, or do I want to run phase shift to try and survive, the ass whooping that I'm about to take trying to get the beacon? It's interesting.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, now keep in mind that is an actual module, and do you want to run that first, that lockdown module, or do you want to run your phase shift? Or do you want to take the ass whooping from now June, and not have quantum radar? The options for the game are broadened out big time right now. So I don't know. We knew when they started acting all these active modules, we were going to have decisions to make. And
right.
The good thing is that everything in this game so far has some type of counter to it. All right. Some less than others. Okay, but they still have counters to them.
Right. And honestly, kind of going back to the whole lockdown rebalance, I honestly think this is going to be good for the game. I know there's some people in the chat are probably torn. Half of them are probably like, okay, good, I'll get locked down a little bit less often. And then the people that really enjoy using lockdown weapons are probably saying, oh, well, shoot, that sucks. Now, I'm not guaranteed a lockdown. But I think for the game as a whole, it's going to be great, because it's going to make people play more. For if you enjoy using lockdown weapons, you are going to know exactly when you're going to get it to work, instead of it just being a total guess. And then if you dislike lockdown, it's going to also show you when you're going to get locked down, so you could try to, I don't know if there's some more skill that you could use, or whatever the case may be, but you can take evasive action maybe, so that you prevent that fourth hit and getting locked down, or whatever the case may be. I think it's going to be great on both sides of the coin.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, this game was a lot of fun before lockdown ever made its way into the game. We were doing just fine without lockdown.
Okay, yeah, so Mixfant was saying that when he tested it on the test server, that as far as the anti-control module, it doesn't trigger until the meter fills, so that's great. And he also tested the lockdown ammo, and it still works as it does on the live server with guaranteed lockdown. Alright, so that's good. But
Total Time Tim stated, T-Falcons defenders don't care about being locked down. Yeah, you're right, because they got so much durability. But now it's going to be a lot less likely that you can lock them down. And that was one of the reasons why I pulled my Invader from the game, all right, because it was just constantly being locked down. Every other hit was locking it down. I said, I just can't play this big old spider anymore, because, it's constantly getting locked down. That's when I started looking for different options. But I mean, with this being said and this happening, very likely I'll bring that big bad boy back into the starting lineup.
Right. But T-Falcons and Fenrir's, they don't brush off the lockdown quite as much now that Titans are out, because I'll tell you, those Titan weapons with that the ability to just ignore your damage resistance
Right.
is it tears through T-Falcons and
Yeah, the
Fenrir's.
damage mitigation is high, so that resistance counts for nothing. Or almost nothing.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised how effective the Titan weapons are now, even at base level, compared to when they were first released. They just sucked. But now they actually do a good bit of damage even at base level.
Yeah, I just got up to 700 platinum yesterday, and I'm so tempted to buy myself a brand new weapon or buy the Alming, but I'm just gonna hold on to my platinum and see what comes out of phase 2. In the meantime, I'll just stockpile platinum, and see what happens. But I want to see what the new 2 Titans are going to be before I make any type of decision, all right, that I don't want to regret later, because platinum is hard to come by, and if you're going to purchase it, it's expensive. If you're going to grind for it, it takes a long time. So mistakes cannot be made when it comes to the use of platinum.
And I totally agree with your synopsis there. And yesterday, I purchased a Titan.
Oh no!
I've been saving up I didn't buy any platinum, but I've been saving up the platinum, each day. And I bought myself an Arthur. That's my play style. It's the one that, even though he's so friggin' slow, I like the brawling. And with Pixonic kind of confirming over and over that they are going to give us those, 5 different types of Titans, I know that I'm not really going to be interested in the other Titans that come out. I mean, yeah, the Saboteur Titan could be fun. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, honestly, we might be 6-9 months away from getting those new Titans. So I was okay.
That's very true.
I was okay making the choice, based on what's in the game and knowing my play style and what I find to be fun, going with the tank. I love tanks, so that's what I went with. Now, I'm not going to drop any money to level it up. I'm just going to collect it, day-to-day free stuff and kind of take it slow. But,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was real tempted to buy that Ming. I really, really was. It's the one I like the most. It has the most weapon slots. I've gone against it in battle. It's a formidable opponent, but I just don't. Like I said, I just can't bear making a mistake and trying to recover from it. So I'll just be patient. It might take a little while. I'm okay with the kid for now. So I'll just have to take my bumps and bruises along the road until we know exactly what's what in the neighborhood.
right. But yeah. Anyway, but I did. Like I said, I went ahead and bit the bullet and did it. But like, you want to wait because I know you, Highlander. You love like the Pursuer, and if there's a chance there's going to be a Titan that comes out even 6 months from now that is anything like a Pursuer, you're gonna want it. So
I'm gonna get it.
It might make sense for you to just to wait. But if if a player knows their play style and what they enjoy, go for it. But one thing
as long as you're happy with your purchase, or guys out there, if you made a purchase and you're happy with that purchase, by all means, enjoy it, guys. You're gonna have the upper hand for before a lot of us. They're gonna wait it out. So enjoy the run and enjoy the buy. If you got the Titan of your choice, have fun with it.
Right, and that's I think that's good advice, and that's kind of what I want to pass on to the players. Not just with Titans, but even with regular robots, and just pick a robot that you enjoy playing. Don't let the meta decide for you how you have to play. It's a game. Try to have some fun with it. If you don't enjoy playing, the Leech, or you don't enjoy playing the Ares, or you really like, Michael, you just love Falcons, go ahead, stack your hangar with the robots that you find fun. Because here's one thing with Pixonic that's guaranteed: a new OP bot will be released. It's going to negate the last OP bot. So if you're chasing meta, you're gonna always be chasing meta, and it's expensive. If you want to play the game to have some fun, pick the robots that you enjoy and invest in them. Don't worry about the meta. Get good at the robots that you enjoy playing, and you'll do well.
I'll tell you what, I've added back my Spectre Vortex to my lineup now, and specifically for your bot, the Arthur. It's exactly why I brought him back, because no matter what I shot that big boy with, I was not going to get past that damn shield. No way. So I decided to go ahead and start bringing the Spectre Vortex on, and not run a phase shift, and not run a last stand. I don't run anything on it except for everything has to do with power. So I have the Vortex with all the pilot skills and everything I could get. 3 thermonuclears maxed out, and a death mark is what I run. You run the risk when you do your damage. You're gonna do good damage. But you run the risk that if any bot catches you, you're dead. You're not gonna survive a few seconds. So, but it's been fun, that's for sure.
Right. And I think as far as topics go, I want to go ahead and look at trying to wrap this up. So if you guys have last minute questions, in chat, go ahead, type those in real quick. But I think the only other thing that was really going on test server was slight change to the I don't even remember the names, the corrosion weapons, the medium and light corrosion weapons that nobody uses. And I saw them and I read what the change was, and still nobody's going to use them. So not really worth talking about.
No, they're really not.
Their biggest downfall is the fact that they are kinetic, single bullet weapons and that just doesn't do much to any robot. It doesn't matter how much damage you tie to it.
The only one that's worth anything is the Viper. That's it.
Right. But yeah, so anyway, anybody in chat, just any last minute comments or questions, please definitely throw them out there. But real quick, let me go ahead and take the opportunity to wish you all a very happy New Year. New Year is coming up here in 2 days?
Yes, sir.
So I hope you all stay safe. If you go out partying or doing anything crazy on New Year's Eve, make sure that you take care of yourself, and you wake up and see 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I was talking with Chief a little bit before we started the live stream, and drinking is something I plan to do very, very heavily, for the football games and all that stuff. And I may not even remember my own name at the end of the night, but I know that I'll be taking a Lyft or an Uber to where I'm going, and a Lyft or an Uber back. And if you're going to go out and you're planning, and you already know ahead of time that you're going to be drinking heavy, plan in advance, guys. Don't go out there and get yourself in trouble, or even worse, kill yourself, kill somebody else. Play it safe from the giddy up. Get to where you're going, have a good time, and get home so we can see you back in the arenas the following day.
Right. And a couple questions real quick. Wacky Wheeland was asking, when does Redeemer damage get significant? Personally, I'm comfortable throwing Redeemers on a robot in Champion League at level 9. I think they put out a pretty good amount of damage then, but obviously anything above that is just bonus, and maxed out, they are brutal.
Yeah, I run maxed out on a Al June, and they're ridiculously overpowered. They really are. They still do no damage to the Arthur shield, but they put the work in against everything else. And if you're upgrading them, it's a good choice.
What are our thoughts on Pixonic's plan for 2020? Well, we kind of talked a lot about it, but overall, I think most of their plan is pretty good, mainly because they are focusing on getting the merger done. That's the biggest thing that I think is going to help everything. And then revamping Silver. Hopefully they do that right. You never know, but I think overall, I think their plan for 2020 is good.
I like the plan that they have in place. I like what they're saying. I hope we don't see any curveballs. Okay, and if everything is going to go as they're laying it out, I think we're going to have one hell of a fun year in front of us. All right, especially as Chief just said, if we get the merger going. Players that have never got to go up against each other are finally going to get to match up, and we're going to find out who the bad boys of the bad boys are, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We know each other from the community, we know each other from YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff. All right, but now we're going to actually get a chance to go in there and play together. I think it's awesome.
American Monsters asking, is Battleborn worth using on a Phantom? Personally, I don't use Battleborn on anything. I don't think it's worth it. My personal opinion.
And I will counter Chief on that. I love my Battleborn. I'm running it on 3 out of the 5 bots. It's very good for that first engagement. It's proven to be a plus for me. I started on the Pursuer, and I've migrated to one of my leeches, and I believe I have now the other one on the other Phantom. So I do like the Battleborn.
You also play a lot of free-for-all. So
exactly. I play a lot of free-for-all, and that's where it brings something in hand. Big difference, yes, sir. Now remember, as soon as you get shot with one bullet, the clock is on. Okay, so you got to really wait for that engagement to start before you go out and start taking shots. If you're going to get shot on the way to your destination, by the time you get there, you're not going to have a Battleborn left, and it's now a wasted module.
All right. Looks like that's probably going to do it for the stream, everybody. Just a quick thank you all for joining us on the stream today. As always, look forward to doing this every weekend, so thank you all for participating. If we missed your questions or comments, I apologize. We try to get to as many as possible. So don't forget to, if you haven't subscribed to Islanders channel, or this one for that matter, definitely stop by, do that. Links are in the description for Islanders channel. Everybody just stay safe. But that is going to wrap it up for me. Islander, thanks again for a great discussion.
You got it, my friend. Anytime. To all of y'all that came around and stuck around, much love to you guys. We appreciate the support. We like the fact that y'all come by every Sunday and hang out with us and talk about a game that we all love to play.
And that's going to do it. So until the next stream or video, guys, Chief out and Islander.
Islander out.